Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's episode of Intuitive Angling, and hope everybody's having a good day out there, and really appreciate y'all tuning in to today's episode. And today, guys, I'm going to share with y'all something big is getting ready to happen to you. You don't know it yet, but it's going to happen to you that you got to get prepared for. So I'm going to give you guys some tips and advice to really save you guys from heartache and turmoil and everything that comes along with this change that's getting ready to happen. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, if you guys are interested in supporting Intuitive Angling, if you like the content here on the channel and you want to give something back, best things you guys can do is just hit that subscribe button, man. If you hit that subscribe button, really helps push the channel out there more. It's free and easy to do so. And also, guys, if you need to purchase tackle, rod and reels, trolling motors, batteries, lures, whatever, rain gear, anything, if you guys use and bookmark my Tackle Warehouse link that's in the description of every video and just use that moving forward for all your purchases, that's doing a huge thing to support the channel, and big thank you for me and my family for everybody that's doing that. Okay, one of the things I love about this channel that I really enjoy is I like to share with you guys the hard lessons I've learned in bass fishing. And by sharing with you all those lessons, hopefully you don't have to go through the same suffering that I did when it comes to bass fishing. I really like that a lot. I mean, I really like sort of like being that teacher where you can take that information and use it, or choose to use it, or not choose to use it. But the thing that's coming that I want to talk to you guys about is what's going to happen when you guys turn 45. Now, this video, if you're over 45, you're going to be able to relate to what I'm talking about here. If you're under 45, I'm going to save you a lot of strife and stress as you get 45 as a bass angler, because I want to tell you what you can expect and what's going to happen. And nobody's immune to it. Doesn't matter who you are, it's going to happen. It's okay. It's just the natural progression in life and bass fishing. There's going to be some changes that take place as you get older as a bass angler. Now here's sort of the evolution that you're going to go through. I went through it. Everybody's going to go through it. You have this stage of your fishing where you're starting to learn about fishing. You're getting interested in bass fishing. And for a lot of people, their ages vary, but for a lot of people, this is in your teens and early 20s. You're full of the vigor of life. Everything's new to you. Techniques are new. Going to lakes are new. It's just like the world is full of wonderment. And that's great. That's part of the process there. That's part of the thing that gets you excited into it. And as you get into your 20s, you start to develop yourself, your own personalities, and your own, approach to fishing. This is the height of your cockiness as an angler, anywhere between 20 to 30. Testosterone levels are at an all-time high. You're gradually going to start tapering off, but you seem bulletproof. You seem invincible. Nobody can really tell you anything for the most part. And it's a big acceleration in your learning phase as a bass angler, because physically and mentally, you're developing, and you're, really quick with instincts. Things are going pretty good. As you get into your 30s as a bass angler, this is going to be the peak years of your fishing. By far, from 30 to 40 is the peak years in fishing for most anglers. Now that time frame has changed a little bit, it has actually changed a lot with the advent of spotlighting for bass, because the spotlighting technique and using forward-facing sonar has accelerated the learning, not accelerated the learning curve, but it allows people to have success with bass fishing without being skilled bass anglers. It's artificial success. But for most bass anglers, even if you do utilize forward-facing sonar, which you shouldn't be, the 30s and from 30 to 40 is going to be where everything is hitting on all 8 cylinders. Mentally and physically, you're at the top of your game. You still have a combination of that youthful enthusiasm, but you have some maturity and experience behind that, and your critical thinking skills are super sharp. Your reflexes are sharp. Your eyesight's good. Your decision-making process is good. That's sort of like the peak years for most bass anglers, their 30s. Now, what you're going to notice as you start to get in your 40s, and specifically when you start to hit 45 years old, sometimes give or take a couple years, it could be this change is going to occur between 40 to 50. You're going to start noticing a significant difference in your fishing. And what's going to happen is your success levels that you have in fishing, regardless if you're a tournament angler or not, you're going to start noticing a decline in your success as a bass angler. And it's going to be frustrating because you're going to think that, okay, am I just making some wrong decisions here? What's going on? You're not going to be able to figure it out. Throughout this process, there's things happening that you're not aware of. Your vision is going to start going, is going to get poor. You're going to have reading glasses. Instead of being able to tie a knot, just in 5 seconds with no glasses, you're going to have to put your reading glasses on, and to tie a knot, that's going to slow you down. Your reflexes are going to slow down a little bit. They don't have to slow down a lot depending upon how physically well you take care of your body. But your decision-making processes begin to change, because what happens is, if you've been fishing for, say, 20 years as a bass angler, and now you're 45 years old, you have this encyclopedia and this wealth of knowledge of things that has worked for you. You will have experienced a lot of success, and those successes seem to happen year after year after year based upon times of year and seasonal pattern. And you're going to start relying on those more. So let's say, for example, you turn 45 years old and it's April. You go back to your favorite technique of fishing in April, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't work as much as it used to. What happens is you get locked into that, and you lose your imagination and creativity, or that is put on a back burner, and you don't experiment. Because let's say, for example, let's talk about a wacky rig or something. 10 years before that, when you're 35, instead of just throwing a 5-inch Cinco green pumpkin on a wacky rig, you may have experimented and, cut your wacky rig down, or tried some oddball colors, or thrown in places nobody ever told you before, and figured out something your own. But eventually you start having so much success with your own approach to fishing that you get stubborn a little bit. Everyone does. And it's just like, you've seen this over and over again. Guys like Rick Clunn, Kevin Van Dam, David Fritz, Denny Brower, Tommy Biffle, all these guys that were specialists in their field that dominated when they were in their 30s, when they start to hit 45 years old, those techniques don't work as good. They'll work occasionally when you get them in your wheelhouse, but they don't work like they did before. But if you're a Rick Clunn or a Denny Brower or Tommy Biffle, you've had so much success doing what you like to do with a handful of techniques that you don't become quite as flexible and adaptive in your fishing. That is the natural process with it. Now, on top of that, you get burned out. It's like, after you've seen 30 years of sunrises at 5 o'clock in the morning, they're not as special anymore. After you've traveled around the country to 50 different lakes around the country, the newness wears off. After you've spent 150 days a year staying in a hotel or a campground at tournaments, you start getting burned out, and you wish you could spend more time at home. You're getting older, your kids are growing up, you have more responsibilities, you have more obligations. And as you get 45 and you start hitting that, all this stuff starts to snowball. Physically, you're starting to go through some changes. Mentally and emotionally, you're going through some changes. Intellectually, with your critical thinking skills, you're going through some changes. And all this contributes to a reduction in how many fish you're going to catch, the reduction in your tournament successes. Nobody's been immune to this. Nobody. I don't care if you're Kevin Van Dam or, people that you consider at the top of the sport. When you hit 45 years old, you're going to notice this decline begins, and it's going to continue every single year. Now, this is not meant to be something that's sad or a bad thing. It is life. It's the cycle of life. That's the way things are meant to be. And what you have to do is you have to adopt the best version of yourself at every single age. So when you hit 45 or 50 or 55 or 60 or 65 or on up to 80, every single stage of your fishing is going to be unique to itself, and it's going to be special to yourself, and you're going to develop sort of a different perception of fishing as you get older. And that's why a lot of people, guys, I know a lot of hardcore tournament anglers that after they've done it for 30 or 40 years, they quit bass fishing and they just start crappie fishing. they still love to fish, but they don't like, all the, the just how difficult bass fishing is. Because guys, bass fishing is difficult, man. There's nothing easy about bass fishing. You're going to have the good days occasionally, and if you use artificial technology like live scope, you're going to have this artificial sense of success that doesn't come through the due diligence and the creative process and the work that should be required in bass fishing. But overall, your how people measure success is going to go down. Prime example, even though like last year I finished in the top 15 in both Angler of the Year standings of the 2 tournament circuits I fished, there's always going to be guys say, oh, you're washed up old geezer grandpa. There's a lot of disrespect that goes out there amongst younger anglers towards aging anglers. But the point is, your day's coming. If you're one of those 25-year-old flat brimming live scopers that think you're bulletproof and invisible, and you think that older guys out there, their time's past, your time's coming. It's going to happen to you when you turn 45. So you best enjoy the golden years while you have them. But the main thing I wanted to reiterate, guys, is when this happens to you, which is going to happen, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing bad with it. Just accept it as just part of the path in life that we all have to go down. This life, we have seasons in life, and every one of those seasons are literally unique to themselves. And you don't try to compare one season in the past to what your time on this earth is right now, because every single season has things you can learn from it, gratifying moments, and that's just the way life is. And the sooner you accept that and stop trying to judge your current situation and your current moment with your golden days of the past or your glory days of the past, you're going to be much happier. So anyway, guys, hope it helps out. We'll talk later.